Welcome into the Sleep Summoner live stream. It's Friday, February 7th. We are simply happy to be here in one piece, feeling very light and cheerful, and rested at the end of a brutally long week, which has come for all of us, I think, in one way or another, but none more so than me over the last 7 days or so. It has been, as a great man once said, an entire week. It has been an entire week of sickness. It has been an entire week of recovering from this nasty, nasty, nasty bug that has been passing around the community, many communities. I've heard from lots of people who have reached out to me online and in the community at large, and expressed a great deal of sympathy, as many of them are also recovering in various states of recovering. As far as my symptoms right now, I can tell you that I was able to go complete a 2-hour voice acting session today that I had to reschedule earlier this week. Kick that can down the road a little bit. And turns out Friday was the magic day. So I was able to get a whole lot done today, as well as turning in auditions, some late auditions. Sometimes I think it's better to turn them in late, versus not turning them in at all. Because then it's like, look, I am interested, and I want you to keep sending me auditions, People tend to understand this time of year because there's just so much junkulous stuff that's floating around. And so my current state, I would say, is I'm not sneezing anymore. I don't have any more chills. My cough, which was near endless about 4 or 5 days ago, my throat and my voice were just completely destroyed, is finally gone. I think I've coughed one time today. The only thing that's really left is I've got a little bit of a stuffy nose, but it's not like major stuffy, it's just like I can still just kind of tell there's a little bit in there, and I can kind of hear it in my voice a little bit, but it's not like it was. It is so much better than it was. And I'm so grateful for all the well wishes and the prayers and the thoughts that you guys sent my way this week. It really bolstered my morale, so thank you for that. And thank you also for being incredibly patient with me. I direct that to you, the viewer, who are joining me here live on stream, but also to my wonderful patron community on Patreon, the Sleep Summoner patrons, who some of whom have still not received their personalized video request for January, and it's February 7th. I'm glad I got the Regent letters out early, because at least the Regent letters all went out. Everybody should have received your Regent letter by now, long before now, really. So if you're somebody who hasn't, please message me on Discord and let me know so that I can try to address what's going on there. Shouldn't be any interruptions in the postal service at this point, at least not that I'm aware of. Whereas last month we sort of dealt with some snow and ice and all that junk. February right now here in North Texas has decided to spring the false spring on us. It does this almost every year. You'll get a week like this where it's like, oh, it's sunny and warm. I guess winter is over. And all the kids are out playing on the street, and It's very sunny and nice, and then you'll get a little bit of enjoyment of that, and then only the newcomers to Texas, the new transplants, are probably like, wow, that was a really fast winter. No, you always got to wait till after February 14th at least, because usually what's coming next is a nasty little cold snap, sometimes a giant freeze, sometimes snow. Sometimes you'll get a week of this fall spring, and then all of a sudden it's snowing again. But I am so happy that you guys sent those words of support. I saw, I had a lot of time on my hands in terms of just being at lowest ebb energy-wise. I didn't get a lot of work done. But I did get a lot of just staring at my phone done. And so thank you to all of you who sent your well wishes and your messages. I really do appreciate that. I can't tell you how nice that is. It's just a nice little pick-me-up. Brought me back into the world of Sleep Summoner and Twitch streams and Real Chris Wehkamp and all the campfire things, and so that was really nice. And nice little cheer up. I better welcome in some people. I see we've got several of our regulars here in the chat. Let me say hello to Tara. What is up, Tara? Better known as Jedi Wolf elsewhere. Retro DJ. What is up? Welcome in. Back in the low 20s? Dang. Yeah, we may see that here. We may see it sometime soon. I don't know. Usually it's like I said, right around the 14th. The Night of Breath. Welcome in, Night of Breath. Trini's here. What is up, Trini? Your birthday's Monday? That's awesome. Happy early birthday to you. Are you going to do some cool birthday stuff this weekend? And if so, what are you considering? I'd love to reject it immediately because it's February. Wolfie's here. What's up, Wolfie? Luna's here. What is up, Luna? Kite. What is up? Kite is awake. Wardraws is here and has answered the question I was going to ask immediately. Whether Wardraws was here or not, Wardraws has informed us that the laundry is done. Congratulations, Wardraws. That's amazing. Now, I do have to ask, though, did you do all the laundry? Because if I remember correctly, I think you had something crazy, like 16 loads of laundry, I think. Was it that many or was it 6? Is my sickened mind confusing that? Did you literally get it all done? Because if you did, seriously, huge congratulations. Elorith is here. What is up? Madison Emma is here. What is up? Hey, Piper, welcome in. Hadouken, welcome in. Everybody's just chilling on a Friday here. I love that. Everybody's cheering for Wardraws, too. Yeah, it's fun. It's such a load off to get these tasks that you have just kind of on the back burner. These back burnered tasks, which I would argue that my life would quickly crumble to bits if I didn't have clean laundry, just because I have to go out and do things so much. That would really throw a kink in my world. So I could never really back burner that, but different careers may not take you out as much, and then it's like, well, next thing you know, you have lost all of your room in your house because your laundry piled up. Shanors is here. What is up, Shanori? Welcome in. It's freezing. Oh, brutal. Oh, thank you so much, Tara. Appreciate you. The $10 dancing doggo kicking us off right tonight. As you can see in my tiny little counter in the top left corner, that brings us to 310 real world Crispies, which are all going towards making it so that you can clearly see the pores in my nose via upgrading my camera rig in here. So thank you so much for that, Tara. We appreciate you. Oh, it's a Shiba sticker. That's right. Thank you so much. Luna says, oh yeah, Chris, the place my mom and I went to eat was good, but not worth $118. Holy bajolies. Yeah, no, I would have to feel, just for two people, I would have to feel, I would need to come away from that feeling a strong sense of, like, luxury, I think, for me to feel great about spending that much money on two people for one meal. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you went. I'm glad you knocked it out. You know, at least now you know. And so now you don't have to go back. What is up, Perga Birdie? Welcome in. One of our wonderful Campfire mods keeping us safe and sanitized here in the chat tonight. So we can just sit back and relax and just let Perga Birdie do the driving. Who else is here? Bella, what is up, Bella? Welcome in. Did I neglect to mention anybody yet? I hope not. Let me know if I neglected you. Nobody should be neglected on a Friday night. I hope your week is over. I hope you guys, hope you put in a good week of work and now you're relaxing into the weekend. How many of you are going to be working tonight, or how many of you are at work tonight and just joining the stream on the sly from your pocket? Jinx, what is up, Jinx Frog? Oh no, Jinx Frog got neglected. Welcome in, Jinx. Good to have you here. B, what is up, B? Welcome in. Anna Watts, welcome in. Did not have school today. That's pretty cool. And I forgot Cookie. Oh no, Cookies and Candy, are you here? Welcome in, Cookies and Candy as well. Can't forget the cookies. Can't forget the Tim Tam cookies. At least not in our house. Hadouken clocked out 23 minutes ago. Look at you. Just absolutely sticking the landing and then immediately joining us here for that restful vibe. Elorith just finished a 12-and-a-half-hour shift. That is a long day. I'll bet you're feeling the burn. DJ's back. DJ says, I did the thing. I got back into editing videos. Congratulations, DJ. That's amazing. Using your talents again. That's what it's about. It doesn't have to be for anything else. We've been sold a bill of goods about this whole using our talents and gifts thing. Because it's all been tethered to this idea of making money with it. Now, I know I'm not a great example of this, but I do have talents and gifts that I don't use in my career simply because I enjoy them. And that is a great reason to use your talents and your gifts, just because it's fun, because you get something out of it, because you enjoy it. Wardraws is on homework now, homework duty. Madison got scammed out of 428 yesterday? Dang, we got to hear that story, Madison. Jinx Frog, thank you so much. And welcome back to the sleepy version of the Campfire. Egg rolls and fried rice, that sounds delicious, Wolfie. Luna worked late twice this week, so today was a short day. Glorious to have an extra 3 hours. It's funny. Those days when I get to sleep in, I just relish it. Even if I only sleep in for like 30 minutes, like 30 minutes to an hour sleep in is just, it's like gold. Feels so good. Elorith, 60 hours total. You really backloaded. So wait a minute. So that's 12-hour days at least every day, or averaging out to, I guess. Trini is drumming. And everybody's asking, what is that behind you? Well, I was sick, but I didn't just do nothing. I mean, I can't just do nothing. I'm very bad at doing nothing. I can do it for a little while. I can do nothing for a little while. But I need something to keep my mind busy, keep my hands occupied. Or else I just get sad. And so I did get up to a little something over the last week while I was under the weather, which we'll be enjoying together for the first time tonight. So I got that for you. I'll probably hit that right before my first break. This is not going to be a normal length stream. I'm just being very smart, being very careful, being very demure. Because, yeah, I just, this was a very full day. This was like my first full day kind of back in action. And so a lot of things that were scheduled earlier in the week kind of just got shifted to today. And so I hit the ground running really hard today. And so I am pooped. The sensei is pooped. So I'm probably going to do like a couple hours. We'll hang out for a couple hours. I'm going to chat with you guys. I'm going to do a little reveal of the item behind me. And then I'm going to read you through some good headlines. Funny headlines, funny news stories, some light stuff for us to enjoy going into the weekend. Yes, mindful, very mindful as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not going to bring a whole lot of chaos tonight, but we'll have a little bit. We got to have our fun, right? We got to break this thing in behind me. First of all, that's important. Faye says, have a hot tea to sip on while chatting. Well, Faye, you know what? You and I are so often, it seems, of a mind on certain topics like this. Because, yes, right before I came in here, I brewed myself a cup of black English tea. And it's just so good when you're feeling a little bit. I think it's good all the time. I drink a lot of tea. I always drink at least 3 cups a day, but usually more. I love a good hot tea. But especially when you're feeling poorly, a little bit of hot tea and honey. Ooh. But let me tell you guys, this most recent time, I had it in my head. I was like, I've got this. I know what to do. I've seen all the Instagram reels, and I pay attention to all the supplements you're supposed to take, and I'm just going to fly through this thing. So literally when I started feeling sick was right after stream on last Friday. Right after stream, I was just feeling a little off. Then when I woke up Saturday morning, I had a little cough, not too big of one, a little cough. And I had some one-on-ones. I did all my one-on-ones, was feeling generally pretty good, and so I just kept going like normal. And I started taking this stuff called oregano oil. Oregano oil. It is really, really gross. But I've used it in the past, when I've had stuffy kind of stuff and this junkulous stuff that comes up this time of year. And it seems to, shorten the time that you are afflicted with all the symptoms and everything. I don't super love taking, like Dayquil and NyQuil and stuff, because it seems to come with side effects depend a lot on like what's going on in my life at the time or what's going on, how busy I am and stuff. It's a great way to really like push through hard for me if I have some super unmissable deadlines, things that can't be shifted at all. I'll just start doing the Dayquil, NyQuil routine. But it seems like it kicks it down the road a little longer for me. Like if I start off feeling sick and take the Dayquil and the NyQuil, it seems like what could have been like a 4-day kind of not feeling great will now be like a 7-day kind of thing. It's not really because of the Dayquil and the NyQuil, I realize that. It's because when I take the Dayquil and the NyQuil, I feel better. And so I'm like, oh, all right, well, I guess I can do this voice session, and I guess I will turn in these auditions, and I guess I will scream my guts out, and I guess I will go to this function, and I guess I will drive my kids here and pick them up later, and I guess I will. And so it's a little misleading for me, and it's hard for me if I'm feeling good to just be like, all right, well, I'm going to lay down now because I know I'm sick, but I feel good. It's hard for me to do that. So anyway, I started taking this oregano oil, and it is disgusting. But I could tell it was working right away, and it was basically like I started off just putting it in like a little tiny little cup, like a shot glass almost, with just a little bit of water, and I would do like 6 drops of this oregano oil, and then just, and right away, like I was feeling Sunday, I was like, this stuff is working, like I'm doing better. And then I don't know what happened, but it all just came to a head Sunday, really, and I ended up kind of just sacking out all of Sunday. I was down for the count. And then, the rest of the week I just kept taking the oregano oil. I do credit it a little bit for especially the subsiding of some of the throat pain that I had. I had a lot of like scratchy throat, and I had a phone call with Kyle earlier this week, and I was just struggling through this phone call. And we were talking about, stuff, work stuff, and he's like, dude, you sound terrible. Yeah, I sound terrible, and I feel terrible. It's not good. Sometimes these colds come through, and they just blow through really quickly. I will say, I feel like part of the reason why I was kind of sick, like 2 weeks ago I was sick, and I missed a stream because I was not feeling good. But I was going to be careful and not stay up late, and I was going to, take good care of Crispy Wombat, and I mostly did that, and then I got better. But then one of my sons, has been struggling with a cough for like 2 weeks prior to that, and he was still, functional. He was still like doing stuff, and he was kind of on the Dayquil train a little bit. And I was keeping my distance, I was, won't, hey buddy, air hug, that kind of stuff. And it just got me anyway, I think is what happened. Like I got a little taste of it, and then I fought it off, and then I just kept getting more and more of it because just being around sick kiddo. And so it just knocked me right on my butt. Sunday was crazy. Like I literally woke up Sunday being like, man, I think I've got this. Like I think I've got this beat. Like the oregano oil, and like had a great stream. I was feeling great about our stream on Friday, and whew, I was wrong. This one came in and it came in like a wrecking ball. I think there was a famous American philosopher once stated, you came in like a wrecking ball. And that's a good description of what happened with this cold. It absolutely came in like a wrecking ball, straight into my gullet. So I'm feeling a lot better. I'm still being smart though, and I'm continuing the oregano oil, just to, you gotta kill it all. I think obviously either, I don't know, viral, bacterial. I don't know what it is exactly. Never had a fever. So I was super happy about that, because the fever, as soon as you see fever, as soon as you hear fever, it's like, or if you start feeling feverish, for me, it's like, oh no, this is a flu, or this is like strep, or this is like, serious upper respiratory infection, something like that. Never became an issue. Never had a fever, which means, I was able to get a lot of sleep. The other thing about the fever is I do feel like when it comes to the fever stuff, then I'm just like, okay, screw it. I'm taking some kind of ibuprofen or, something like that will allow me to sleep, because it's very hard to sleep when you're feverish. So anyway, I didn't have to do that. Pretty lucky, actually, about that, because the fever, I feel like, just knocks you down. I never had any nausea. Never had any, sick stomach, anything like that. Wasn't super hungry this week. Didn't eat a whole lot, but that's pretty par for the course when I'm feeling kind of bad. So yes, my question to you, wonderful sleep summonees, is, have any of you been struggling with the junkulousness? Has it been hitting you guys too? Because literally, I think I've heard at least 5 other people I've talked to are dealing with aspects of this. I mean, and it's not that weird. Like, it's wintertime. This is what happens in the wintertime. But it does seem like the people that are getting hit are like, this is not a good one. This is not a good one. Luna says, for me, it's the chills. Power through the fever, but chills are bad. Vicks is really good when it comes to the cold. Yeah, Vicks. That was what my mom used to give me when I was a kid. I remember she'd rub the Vicks on my chest when I'd go to bed at night. And then we also had a really old, like, humidifier. Old plastic, like, 70s era, you know, cream and brown or something humidifier. And we get that thing blasting in the room. I guess I fell off Vicks. I need to get back on the Vicks train. Lynn Divine, welcome in. I have a cold right now, and it's torment. It really is. When you're up in it, and then you're right in it, it's just awful. I feel like time slows down so much. And partly it's because in the back of my head, I'm like, there are so many things I need to be doing right now. There's a huge list of things that I need to be, tasks I need to be getting done. And I kind of have a premature celebration for you guys tonight, like things I need to be celebrating. I got a little something for you guys tonight. I can't say too much yet, but got a little something that I can talk to you about. Meow, what is up? Welcome in. A little bit mostly respiratory asthma flare-up. Oh, this time of year, yeah. I mean, especially North Texas. North Texas is notorious for just ragweed and what's the other? Cedar, really big for cedar sufferers. And so this is a tough area to live. Fortunately, I'm lucky. I don't have any allergies at all. And I credit that to how much dirt I ate as a child. I was just outside getting into trouble all the time. But I mean, this has got to be for an allergy sufferer. This time of year is just freaking miserable. So my sympathies to you for sure. Linifer, what is up? Welcome in, Linifer. How you doing tonight? Put the Vicks in the humidifier. That's like God mode. That's amazing. That's like Galaxy Brain mom hack home remedy. I need to try that for sure. Kimmy, what is up? Welcome in, Kimmy. The Mother of Dragons has arrived. Not yet, but my head's been pounding. Interesting thing, you have a lot of time on your phone when you're sick. Literally just like laying there half dead, just scrolling through things. And one of the things that popped up on my feed was interesting. It was about how, and I guess I knew this, but I just forgot. I don't know. A lot of facts come and go in the old wombat brain. And one of them was, at one time, and then it reminded me that the brain actually has no pain receptors. And that when you feel a headache, it's actually the thing that goes around the brain. I think it's called the dura. And so it's really the expansion, the painful expansion or the painful contraction of this thing, the dura. And I don't know how that helps you. I don't know how that helps anybody, really. It's not necessarily a helpful fact, but it just reminded me, like, oh yeah, that's right. The brain doesn't have, like, if you have brain surgery, anesthesia is absolutely optional, I think, or maybe not even allowed. I can't remember. But people are awake for that stuff because you have no nerve endings in the brain. Yeah, or I should say you have all your nerve endings are in the brain in a way, but you have no pain receptors in the brain. Very interesting. Very interesting. You'd think it'd be the most painful place, that you would have the most pain receptors, but not the case. What's up, Michelle? Welcome in. They make tissues with Vicks. Wow. That I've never seen before. There's so many hacks in here. I need to look out for that. So yes, it does sound like the summonees in the chat are also feeling some of the pain from this seasonal junkulousness. Nah, I'm sorry to hear it, Kimmy. I've found almost nothing is better than sleep. Like all these things I take, and I'm like, I'm gonna fix this, and I'm gonna make it so that I feel better sooner, so that I can get back to my stuff. Like, what I really need to do is just shut up and go to sleep. Go lay down. Even if I don't sleep, just lay down and rest. Let your body do its thing, you know? Oh, sorry, my dura hurts. Mr. Johnson, can I be excused? My pancreas hurts. Yeah, your brain. Okay, yeah, Kite. You can touch your brain and feel it. So you can feel it with your finger. If you could touch your brain, your finger could feel it. But your brain could not feel. How would you even say this sentence? Your brain could not feel your finger touching itself, I guess. No, the finger's not touching itself. Your brain could not feel your finger touching itself. That's a weird thought. That's a very weird thought. I mean, it's probably for the best. I'm on team get rid of pain receptors. Like, I guess we need some so we know something's wrong, but I think it'd be okay to just get rid of a lot of pain receptors in my feet. I'd be fine with that. You know, you get done with a long day or a long session of just standing for hours and talking into a microphone, shouting or whatever. And then oftentimes the thing that is the most worn out is not even my voice or my body necessarily, it's my feet. It's my feet from just standing there for whatever, 2-3 hours. Have you tried changing your socks? That is a Magic Navy panacea. Is that right? Changing your socks? I have never heard such a thing. But I have heard, well, I didn't hear it. But as I was doing my thing, scrolling through all this just nonsense, whatever I could do to just pass the time, really, in my exhausted wombat state, I did run across a guy who would slice up slices of onions and put onions in a sock and then put a sock on his foot. And supposedly that is a tried and true traditional remedy. Never tried that one out. Feels like it would be really smelly. But you know, the oregano oil is super disgusting. So I don't know which would be more disgusting, the oregano oil or the onions in the socks. And I should clarify, the oregano oil is not really disgusting. It's not disgusting. It just burns. It's got a burn to it, you know. It also has a really crazy aftertaste. The oregano oil. The first taste of it is nothing. It just kind of a little bit of burn. But then you give it a minute, and then it's like, ooh, I feel like I just poured Tabasco sauce in my mouth. And then the aftertaste really hits you, and it is a sock. It is a sock in the noggin. Yeah, Hadouken, exactly. No more pain after stubbing your toes. Do I really need to know every time I stub my toes? No. The answer is no. I don't need to know. Now, if I'm out here stubbing my toe and I'm bashing it against tables so much that I'm breaking my toes or something, okay. And maybe I would be bashing my toes around on all kinds of stuff if I didn't have pain receptors. I don't know. But I would love to be able to have it. Maybe a switch. That'd be nice. If you know you're mostly in the safety, security of your home, you know, you're going to be walking around on your carpet or whatever. You're not in a situation where you're going to be stepping on nails or something. It'd be nice just beep, boop, boop, boop. Okay. Oh, turned off my feet. Woo! My dogs were really barking. and then you just don't feel anything down there. That would be nice. I don't know why it's on my arm. I guess maybe you've got a pain control panel there in that example. You can just sort of turn stuff on and off. Oil of anything is nasty. Yeah, fish oil is not it. I agree. I did take fish oil for a while. That was years ago. And I can't really remember why I started, but it was like heart health, I think. It was a heart health thing. Now I don't know, my kids make fun of me all the time. I take a lot of different supplements, but then I'm on, looking at reels and I'm like, ooh, but this one. And then I'm like, I got to get that one too. So I think by the time I'm done, I'm probably going to have like 50 different supplements. I'm going to have like a giant suitcase that I carry around, and I'm just trying to stay healthy. I just hate going to the doctor. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. There are a few things. I never understood this when I was a kid, by the way. Because pretty much all the men in my life, like my dad and uncles and all these people, they just hated going to the doctor. I'm like, why do you hate going to the doctor? Like, you usually get a sticker or something. Like, they'll give you get a candy, It's like you may get a little toy or something. Like, it's what's wrong with the doctor? Well, yeah. And then you start growing up and it's like, oh, it's just only going to be bad news. That's why. You're not going to go to the doctor and they're like, hey, by the way, you're getting younger and healthier. That's never the case, It's always going to be like, now maybe if you're making good health decisions and stuff like that, maybe that is your situation, but I just know. So I take, and I have really good blood pressure. I've always had great blood pressure, Never really had like chronic issues. Been really lucky there. Never had any allergies. Super lucky there. But every freaking year, like clockwork, I get some kind of upper respiratory junculus, and it just whips me every year. So I just keep trying different stuff. And so my kids make fun of me because I've got all these supplements. I think for most people, maybe for most people, I don't know. I mean, being sick is no fun. Of course, that's pretty like, yo, what's up, Chloe? Welcome in. How are you doing tonight? We're just talking about sickness stuff. Like if you have a job, like especially if you've got like a salaried job, it's kind of like, well, I don't like being sick, and being sick sucks, but also I never finished Better Call Saul, and I could just use some of my sick time and watch all of that. So, and I remember that I used to sort of have a situation like that before I left the corporate world, and it was like, well, I hate being sick, but also I'm just going to burn these days here and still get paid and just kind of lay low for a couple days. Yeah, that's not the case when you're a voice actor. Not the case at all. And especially if you end up with, what I had and what I tend to get at least once a year, like I said, like clockwork, it just kills all your work, for the time that you're down. It's like you have to turn stuff down. You have to not audition for things. You have to, push sessions. It's just sucks. It just sucks. Because also I love this. I mean, I love what I do. So I'm not necessarily looking to like, oh, I got to hurry up and get a vacation day from my job as a voice actor. Like, I love voice acting. So I'm like, I don't want to miss this stuff, So a little bit of a trade-off there, I guess. I mean, there's so many trade-offs. Have I tried elderberry syrup? Made my own before when I was sick a few years ago. No, I don't think I have. But see, when you tell me stuff like that, I'm like, elderberry syrup. All right, now I got to research, like, well, who's a reputable producer, and is it what else does it have in it? And like I get all nerdy about it too, and I like pick it all apart, and I'm like, oh, let me compare these two manufacturers of. Okay, well, this one's the organic one, but this one looks like it's sourced more locally. And like, which one, but the price on this one. And I'll do like this whole analysis, and I just get into stuff like that. It's fun for me. But no, I have not tried elderberry syrup yet. And I do think there's a lot to be said for these traditional holistic, for lack of a better term, the kind of cures that your grandma had. That your grandma would tell you about. I do think there's something to that stuff. So anytime I find like a little, like, even if it's onions in the socks, like, I don't immediately dismiss that. I'm like, people used to put onions in their socks? Interesting. Like, that's crazy. Like, how, maybe that works. I don't know. I guess I'm pretty open-minded about that stuff. And maybe gullible also. I don't know. Maybe I want to believe also that putting onions in your socks is going to solve your problems. Maybe I want to live in that world also. So a little bit of gullibility there too. Oh, Kimmy, over the summer laryngitis is so awful. That's awful. B says saltwater gargle. Yes, I've done the saltwater gargle. I've done, what's the apple one? That's like apple vinegar. Apple vinegar, I've done that before. It is so disgusting. I feel like the apple vinegar is on par with the oregano oil, except it seems to last even longer. Like, I feel like I'm breathing fire out of my mouth when I breathe after drinking that. Yeah, I am, Anna. It's true. I become Deku when it comes to these things. When it comes to supplements and electronics and musical instruments and gadgets and all that stuff, I really geek out about. I love to go down rabbit holes about technology and video games, and it's fascinating to me. And so I besides just the utility of it, I'm like, I want to get the best one. I want to min-max this if I can. Because it's sort of a challenge. It's a fun challenge. Yeah, vitamin C. I try to get most of my vitamin C from fruits and vegetables. Like, I try to have a pretty balanced amount of fruits and vegetables each day. I eat a lot of meat. I just love meat. So I eat a lot of meat, but fruits and vegetables, all about it. Vitamin D, that's the other problem. You get sick. I don't want to go outside. I just want to, you all knew this was going to come back to vitamin D. You knew that. As soon as I started talking about this, you're like, he's going to talk about vitamin D. Yeah, I definitely did not get out enough over the last 7 days. And I know that contributes to me not getting better faster. Like, if I was going out and soaking up more vitamin D, I would be getting better faster. For sure. It's just hard. I'm like, I'll just go take a walk. And then I'm like, just lay right back down. Yeah, apple cider vinegar. That's what I meant. What did I say? Apple vinegar? You knew what I meant. Apple cider vinegar. Yeah. Yes, music. I love nerding out about music. I know way too much about music from my years of being a musician and being in bands and stuff. Not necessarily as much, I think, from the modern era, because I'm not as directly involved in it, but movies, TV shows, music, video games, all that stuff. I super get into the people who make it and the stories behind how it gets made. All that stuff is super interesting to me. DJ says, when I lived up in the northern part of Michigan, the Amish introduced us to a thing called super tonic. It was so gross, but after one shot, the sickness was gone. Okay, I have to know, what is in the super tonic? Oh my gosh. I want super tonic now. I never even knew it existed until 14 seconds ago. I mean, the Amish, they're doing a lot of things right, I think. I don't know much about, obviously, the Amish. I've never lived up that way, but just in terms of the stories you hear about, like, their overall healthiness, like, they're robust, out in the sun, working in the fields, barn raising stuff, and just eating, I guess, super clean stuff they grow themselves, and, like, dang. The Amish kind of have it figured out in a lot of ways. But then also, 0 video games would be a change. 0 movies. 0 TV shows. That'd be tough. That would be tough. And then I guess on top of that, I honestly, giving up social media would be the easiest one of all of those for me. And just giving up my phone. I don't know. I have a really love-hate relationship with my phone, if I had to describe it. But when I finally sit down to watch a movie or something I've been looking forward to, like a TV show season, and I'm excited for a new season, and yeah, I unequivocally love that. That would be really hard to, just be like, well, never again. I'm just never going to do that again. That'd be really hard. But if you told me, hey, you don't need your phone anymore for your career, and you also don't really need it, to contact people, and I don't know, how would that work? I just wouldn't be able to text anymore, I guess. Because I don't call. I mean, I talk to people on the phone very rarely. It's just texting, pretty much. If I had some replacement for that wasn't my phone or wasn't on my phone, then I'd be like, yeah, I'm done. I think I can walk away. Now I say that, but I'm also incredibly guilty of spending way too much time on my phone, and I justify it by being like, well, it's this is how I'm basically doing my whole career, and how I'm staying up on what's happening in my industry, and how I'm aware of things that are happening with work, but also with the world, and so there's all kinds of justifications that I have for why I spend so much time on my phone. Yeah, Perger Birdie, I don't know. I sort of think, as far as how accurate that is, I have no idea. I think it's more of a stereotype than anything. And are there Amish people that have watched, TV shows and movies? Sure, I'm sure. I'm kind of painting with broad brush here, and I really don't have that much information. I don't have personal information at all. I haven't experienced. I'd love to, that'd be so cool to spend a little time there, but I think they would probably think that they probably would think I'm very weird if I was up with the Amish. Maybe not. Maybe they'd be super welcoming. I don't know. But because I would be taking selfies of everything. Probably. I'd be like, hey, let's shoot. Oh, you guys are building this chicken coop. That's awesome. You mind if I shoot a video of this? Or hey, building a chicken coop. I don't think they'd be thrilled about that. I gotta post this on Instagram. No, you don't. I think they would not think that was awesome. So that was a fast 45 minutes already. It's nice to be back with you guys. Every time I'm away, for whatever reason, cons, illness, work, I start getting that itch of I just want to hang out. Just want to hang out again. It's nice to catch up a little bit. Oh, DJ, you rode the horse and buggy? That's freaking awesome. I guess I've ridden a horse and buggy, but, not one that people actually use to, get around in, as their daily driver, if you will. I think I rode a horse and buggy, I guess, for Christmas, And that was really cool. But it was more of just like a slow, leisurely, like I would love to be in a horse and buggy when it's like, no, we're going to town. Like we have a goal, and this is just a goal mission that we're on. That'd be cool. Yes, Piper, I would probably be shunned. Yes, I probably would. Mira, what is up? Welcome in. Does it ever get weird realizing you're sitting in a room talking to yourself? Not at all. That's one aspect of this that I was kind of perfectly trained for. And by this, I mean streaming, but to a much larger degree, auditioning. Almost all of the studio work that I do. Now, granted, there's some other people there listening, but ultimately you're in a booth. You know, you're just in this little room by yourself, talking to yourself. I credit my childhood. Really, I grew up as an only child, as many of you know, and I spent the vast majority of my time as an only child. This was way pre the internet, you know. The internet really didn't even come on the scene. By the time the internet came on the scene, I was in like middle school, like late middle school, and that's like early internet, you know, AOL chat boards internet. So it was nothing like it is now, and I spent vast quantities of time by myself with my thoughts, just delving deeply into my thoughts and my imagination. And I never felt lonely. Never. Like I loved going off into my own world. I loved drawing pictures. I loved building stuff. I loved reading books. Absolutely voracious reader of books. And my parents still had me involved in, you know, several things outside of regular life. Like, so I played soccer for 14 years. I was on a soccer team every season for 14 years. And then once I started, you know, acting and theater became a bigger part of my life. I was involved in theater troupes outside of school that were just like community children's theater troupes. And really, like, I would just ride my bike around the neighborhood. And if I would go to my friend's house or I would drive over on my friend's street, if they weren't there, I'd just keep riding my bike. And I would sing to myself and I would talk to myself. And I used to put on like whole wars with my G.I. Joe guys and my Star Wars guys. And I would like plan out the strategies and I would have like characters and I would, you know, never bored. Almost never bored. The times that I was bored was when it was like my parents would be like, hey, we're going to the plant nursery. We have to go get some stuff for the backyard, like on a Saturday or something like that. Like, oh, no. So then my parents would drag me along and I'd just be like, I could be at home playing with my stuff. Yeah, so no. I mean, the very long answer to your question is that, and then the short answer is just no. Like, I also, one of my favorite guilty pleasures in life to this day, it always has been, is going to the movies by myself. I love the experience, especially if you go for like a matinee, which is sometimes kind of easy. I don't go to movies as much as I used to, just because life is so wonderfully full right now. But in my earlier days, especially in my bachelor days, if there was a movie coming out and I was super into it and I had a Saturday, I'm like, well, I could, you know, invite my friends or like we could get a group together. I'm like, or we could have the guilty pleasure of just picking a time that this movie is playing when I think nobody's going to be in that theater and just going there by myself and completely immersing myself with no distractions in this movie. And just like literally just going to that place, like being able to put myself, you know, directly in that place it's such a wonderful thing. I also have, this is a guilty pleasure too. I never do it now. Just because, again, life is so wonderfully full, and I'm very lucky that in that way. But for a long, long time, I really enjoyed the solo lunch. I know that sounds crazy. I know many of you are hearing me say that, and you're like, eating lunch by yourself? I freaking love it. I love it. You get to just people watch. You get to just observe the world around you and like think of things. You know, you get to just like ideate and eat a yummy meal. And it's like that particular guilty pleasure is especially hated by people because it's and especially, like, I would say, you know, men of a certain age who are like, yeah, but you're wasting, those are wasted opportunities where you could be connecting with people. You could be, you know, you could be out to lunch and forging a relationship, you know, to further your goals, or, you know, to, yeah, I could. I could. But, or I could just enjoy my time completely undisturbed. It's so nice. It's so nice. And I've really always felt that way. Like, that's the crazy thing. People are like, well, yeah, now, I mean, because we're busy and, like, you know, it's nice to get a little break. I'm like, yes. And also, I was the guy that would, like, I would get halfway through, I'd bring my lunch to school and in high school, and I would hang out at the table for a while. I'd eat some of my lunch, and then I'd be like, I gotta go. And I would just like go, seriously, I would go to the theater wing of the school. If you walk with purpose, you can go almost anywhere. I learned that pretty early because I got in trouble constantly. And one of the ways I got in trouble constantly was if you just walk with purpose, people don't really bother you. And so literally I would just walk with purpose to the theater, totally empty theater, proscenium stage, all the lights on the stage. And I'd walk down the aisle, dead silent. But it's also the theater acoustics. So it's like the acoustics of a giant auditorium. Not that giant. It's a high school auditorium, but I don't know how many seats. 500 seat auditorium, okay? Pick a seat, sit down. Just me and my thoughts. And I'd make up jokes, and I would, it was just wonderful. It was wonderful, especially plugged into, you know, the busy day of you know, the typical suburban high schooler or whatever. Like, your whole day is governed by bells, and you're not in control of anything, and you're just, every minute of the day, people are telling you where to go, telling you what to do. You're getting pulled this way, you're getting pulled that way. What's the drama with this? What happened over here? What's, you know, and that's all interesting and good and very energizing. And I enjoy that too. But the times when I could just be just me and myself, it was just magical. It's weird to say that I have so many great memories from high school. Some of my very favorite memories were times that I was just reflecting, and I would think of something for the very first time, or I would realize something. I have a couple memories around, like, there was like a couple lunches there where I was just like reflecting, and I realized some stuff that I was like, oh my God. And stuff just like kind of clicked in place for me. It was amazing. So you talk to anybody, you know, especially my age, it's like, I think for a 45-year-old man, he's like, why would I want to go play golf with my buddies and we'll eat lunch? And like, yes, that's fun. That is, I think that's a great way to spend time and connect with your friends. I think that's awesome. And also, like, the part that you won't agree to is that, and also, it's so nice to just not have to do that sometimes. So anyway, that was a long tangent. Yeah, I was a huge troublemaker. I got in trouble constantly when I was a kid. So I will tell you that I think there is an announcement coming maybe this weekend. If not this weekend, certainly earlier this week, this coming week, of a I would say very cool new role that I just booked. And obviously can't tell you anything about it, and I don't have the exact details of when all that news is going to drop. But I will tell you that it was a really cool situation where I got a chance to audition for it, and then they also brought me back in for a second round of auditions on it. And I don't know why, but when you get called back in on the second audition, I've been called in on a third audition before as well. That only happened one time, but something about the second and third auditions, as an actor, it for me anyway. It's on one hand, there's two ways to look at it, right? Like with glass half full is like, wow, like that's very good. They're obviously really considering you. Like you would assume that, like, in that I think you can assume that, like, they're not going to just waste their time, right? Like they must be interested in you for the part. Otherwise they would not bring you back in, to have you do it again. But then there's the other side of it of like, okay, it's very, very easy for me to do one audition for a role and totally not be invested in it. I would say that's after doing this as long as I've been doing it, which is 14 years this year. It is at this point, I will say, one muscle that has strengthened a lot for me is absolutely being able to just do an audition and let it go. That's something I can do with very little difficulty now. Something about the callback audition ends up being the caveat to that. And I guess it's just because now, whether you want to or not, you kind of can't help but get because they are telling you, on some level, they're telling you, like, okay, you've got a shot at this. Like, we like what you're doing. Seems like what you did was right for this. I think because of that, it becomes more challenging for me under the callback audition scenario to really not be invested in the outcome. That seems to be the trend for me personally. It's obviously it's different for every actor, different for every performer. But in the case of this one, I did feel really strong about, the callback audition that I gave. I felt like it went really well. And so, and then this week, in the depths of my sickness, I received the word that got the part. So, very exciting. Should be cool. Can't say anything about it other than that. I know that's kind of just a big tease, but it is also, a note to keep an eye on the old socials. Again, like, if I didn't feel, I don't really have to do this stuff. Like I tell myself I have to do this stuff. Like, well, I gotta keep an eye on, I don't know when this thing's gonna drop. So I don't really have to. Like, on one level, I could just be like, whatever happens, happens. And I'm just going to do the work. And I'm just going to focus on the work. I'm going to focus on turning in good auditions. And then when I get cast, I'm going to show up and I'm going to focus on trying to bring the characters to life in the most authentic way that I can using the skills that I have. I could absolutely do that. But there is an element to, I have found, there's an element to this career of trying your best, where possible, to stay on people's radar. Because, and part of it is just because, like, I think this used to be a lot easier. I don't know. I would love to talk to, you know, some of the more senior actors compared to me. Morgan Ecker, what are you doing out here tonight? How are you doing? Thank you for the $2, friendo. That is all going towards the non-potato camera goal, although the number is not adding up. But it is, and thank you so much for that. Soon you'll be able to see every pore on my nose, and then everyone here will regret what they've done. So I wonder what sort of the staying on the minds of people aspect of this looked like prior to the internet, because again, the internet kind of started becoming a thing, I would say like 8th grade, you know, when I was in 8th grade. So I wasn't really like pursuing this thing in a professional capacity, obviously, at that point. And so I guess it was just like you went to parties. I don't know. I guess you know, oh, well, you know, there's a bunch of people who are having brunch, you know, and so you just like, okay, yeah, I'll go spend a little time there, and I'll get some FaceTime in with, you know, people, and they'll remember I exist, you know. A lot of it is like people need to remember you exist to cast you in things, you know. That's just reality. Or I should say that another way. People need to remember you exist in order to send you auditions, like to even give you a chance to, you know, be cast in things. So, yo, thank you, Madison. I appreciate that. $1.99. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I'm excited. It'll be fun. It'll be challenging. I think part of why I'm excited about this one is there's going to be a level of challenge to it. Not that it's every character, every role you do brings its own little challenge to it, right? But I would just say some on the surface are just right there. You know, they're just like a lot more obvious versus others where it's like you may spend a little time inhabiting the role for a while, and then you're like, okay, and maybe you see it from a certain angle, and then the challenge is like, how can I make that sort of live? You know, how can I give that its life? This one's not that. So this one will have some more challenges right there. So that's exciting. What is this about Rapunzel? Oh, Rapunzel. No, yeah, well, you guessed it. You guys are too good. I was hoping that if I talked around it, you know, maybe you wouldn't come up with it, but you guessed it. I am going to be voicing Rapunzel. Chris Punzel, yes. I'm going to be voicing Chris Punzel. Yeah, I could talk about wonky acting stuff, I guess, for a while. But especially when it's, you know, it's just top of mind this week. So it'll be exciting, and I look forward to sharing in the fun with you guys, sharing in the celebration of this. It's gonna be a good time, I think. Burger Buddy says, I broke the news that you are the latest Disney princess, and chat figured out it was Rapunzel. So you guys, you're pretty sharp. You guys can't really get anything past you, I think. And I think the whole reason I was cast is because my hair is so long. It's so long and healthy. They're like, you're not actually right for this, but just based on how long and healthy your hair is, we had to have you come back in. So, okay. I think that means it's time for me to go fill up my cup, and then when I return, after spending a moment with your good friend Gerald, we're gonna have to figure out. We're gonna have to learn together what this item is behind me on the wall. I think we're gonna have to learn that together. So, stick around. Whoops. Breaking everything. See, this is what it'll be like with the good camera. It'll be like, oh, the pores on my nose. Why would anybody want this? I don't know. I'll be right back. Try to break up all the discussion in here. I hope Gerald was entertaining and witty and full of wisdom. Gerald is somebody who understands the simple joy of solitude, the simple peace of the world no longer intruding for a little while. Doesn't have to be forever, doesn't have to be for a long time. Just a little time to yourself goes a long, long way. A little corner of found solitude, found peace, a little oasis of simple peace. Goes a long, long way. How many times have I said that I need to get a new pop screen? At least twice. At least 3 times. Chris, we have 3 Lunas now. Wow. We got Luna Moonwalker. What's up, Luna Moonwalker? Welcome in. I 100% support the Luna Club. I think that's a great idea. The Lunatics. I love it. All right, well, I guess we should just get right to it here. And then I've got some news headlines for you guys. I always like to look up the weird and funny news articles because that's something that doesn't often get pushed out on my social media feeds. I don't know why. I guess they're not as clickable or something. Maybe they're not as polarizing. I don't know. They don't push the ad revenue as much, so you just don't see them. But they're usually whimsical and fun. They're usually like pretty life-affirming, and they're funny. And so that's worth my time. Just that alone makes it usually pretty worth my time to at least look around. Okay. This will be our inaugural use of, I don't know what to call it yet. I haven't thought of a good name for it yet, but let me rotate majestically. Allow me to rotate majestically and display for you version 1.0 of the booth arm. I need to think of a better name for it. Here we go. Oh, the barrel Dexter. And check this out. Well, magnetic base. Magnetic base on the booth arm, which means that we can put all kinds of things back here. And I think on a given stream, whether it's for Twitch or for YouTube, we'll have different meaningful objects that we can use that are platform specific. So you're probably not going to see the barrel Dexter or the shenanigans that come with it on the Twitch stream. We'll have different objects and different shenanigans there. And yes, my next step is to put a magnetic hook a magnet basically into the back of the plaque so that we can just put the plaque on there and everything rotates. So like it's all kind of locked right now, but like this rotates down, it goes to the side, everything is like, there's 3 points of rotation. So I know. Well, I've been thinking about this for a while and researching, as I like to do, trying to find something that is kind of a least obtrusive solution. It is Magneto Sacapuntas. That's right, Lexi. That's right. Magneto Sacapuntas has joined us. Also, that's just satisfying. 4 pretty strong, I think, neodymium magnets. I think I'm saying that right. Neodymium. And I thought it'd be a good idea for tonight, since I've kind of been out of a loop. I've been down and out over the last week. For us to symbolically send off the holiday season. You know, we're well into February now. We had a wonderful holiday season together. Kimmy. Can't wait to see the camera set up. Can't wait to see all 7,000 of the pores on your nose. Yeah. But I thought it'd be a good idea for us tonight to use the Your Did It Star to deliver this pencil directly into the warm, loving embrace of the barrel Dexter. It's a happy little... Look at that derpy polar bear guy. He's happy about Christmas, but guess what? Christmas is over. The holidays are done. We made it. We made it. And you guessed it, it's nubbin time. Oh, hold on, I gotta lock it. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but upside down. There we go. See, I haven't been just doing nothing. I mean, I have been doing a lot of nothing, but I still need to oil the barrel Dexter. That I have not done. Of all the things I have done, that's one thing I haven't. Because he's still chugging along a little bit. But it's a nice, I would say, overall, pretty sturdy base. Lock it down a little harder. There we go. Can you still see it? I don't want to rob you of your nubbening. How we doing? Oh. Christmas is well on its way out the door, guys. I mean, it's long gone. But now we're moving out of the winter time, especially here. We're moving into a spring mindset. We're getting into a time of renewal, joy, growth, new opportunities, new things on the horizon. I need to keep these magnets from sliding. This is the first test I've done, by the way. We're testing this live. So you're here for it. The Barrel Dexter takes no prisoners. The gentle ministrations of the Barrel Dexter in full effect. The Barrel Dexter did not come to play. Has a job. It's good at its job. The Barrel Dexter is a professional. I gotta just put some I gotta put some screws in, I think. If I put some screws in, then that way I've got something to kind of push against. But the actual mount is doing great. Feels very solid. Sacapuntas. The sacapuntas of the turning of the seasons. One day it's here, and the next day it's gone. Gone, baby, gone. All right, that's as far in as I can get it, I think. So there's our first nubbin using using the new Barrel Dexter mount. Very excited. This is a pretty exciting. It's if I had to explain to somebody in an elevator why it's exciting that I have a magnet mounted 90s era pencil sharpener in my booth, I think I'd have a hard time explaining it, but I would just say you gotta be there. You just gotta be there. Oh, that's the other cool thing about it is it's actually removable. I mean, I don't know why I would want to remove it necessarily, but if I wanted to, I could. There we go. And then it just folds up out of the way. And the times that I'm in here doing commercials, especially, it's going to be funny. It's going to be funny to me because I audition for and do a lot of like industrial stuff. So, I guess I have a trustworthy voice, for medical technology, for example. So, I have many years of doing instructional videos, industrial videos where it's just dense, really dense, thick piles of text, and I don't know any of the words. Really what they mean. I mean, I may know like 1 out of every 20, but it's like I'm great at pronouncing them well, and so it's just me being very serious and talking about a serious situation that you or a loved one may find yourself in. Deoxyribonucleic has deoxyribonucleic acid entered into your bloodstream recently? How would you ever know? Well, the truth is, deoxyribonucleic acid is a dangerous substance. And if you find yourself close or in proximity to deoxyribonucleic acid sometime in the future, you should know there's a solution out there for you. And that solution is, yes, mesothelioma. And the whole time I'm doing that and sounding like as professional and serious as I can, I'll know that right behind me is a pencil sharpener from the 90s that I like to make nubbins with. And I like to make nubbins with you right here on the Sleep Summoner Cozy Oasis 107.5 Smooth Jazz. Join me now for your drive time commute. What a week it's been. Time now for some Kenny G. That wasn't the right music. That wasn't Kenny G music. I don't know why it's so satisfying, but it sure is. Yes, life alert. I've fallen and I can't get up. I guess life alert is life alert still a thing? Because you would think that with the advent of just super ubiquitous networks and everybody has a cell phone, why would you need a life alert? But I guess probably it's still around. Because I think one of the whole points of the life alert is there's nothing to fiddle with. There are no fiddly parts. It's just a button. It's just a button around the neck. A lot of people here are like, what is a life alert? What are you talking about? There used to be this thing that they would sell through like infomercials. And basically it was like for your grandparents. And it was if, God forbid they slipped on something and fell down and then they can't get up again. And nobody's there, And so what do? They can't call anybody. They can't, what a terrifying situation to be in. So Life Alert solved that problem by they have basically a emergency button that they wear around their neck or on a jaunty lapel. I don't know. I guess you can wear it any way you want. It just depends on your style. And you just click the button and then it would send out an alert to emergency services, and they would just, they would know like something's gone wrong. Or I think there was, because one of the whole things was it's a two-way radio, I think, where like you push the button and it opens up a channel so that you get the iconic line of the woman saying, "I've fallen and I can't get up." And part of why it was funny wasn't because it's like, it's funny when old people hurt themselves. That's not why it's funny. It was funny because they were produced in this very like kind of cheesy. The actors were pretty cheesy. The scenes were pretty overacted, and the whole thing felt a little bit, I guess, low budget, back in the day. And so it was funny for that. But yeah, I wonder if that's a thing. I don't know. Let's see. I bet Chad already told me, right? Bella says, could you do that with mechanical pencils? You read my mind. In fact, as I was looking for a good pencil for tonight, I was like, mechanical pencil? Because I did come across a mechanical pencil. And we're going to get there. I just, for the maiden voyage, it's the maiden voyage of the booth arm. And I thought for this one, let's just keep it very like vanilla. We'll trick it up a little bit with saying goodbye to the holidays. But we'll get there. We are together. We're going to go lots of places together with the booth arm. I can promise you that. I have such fun ideas. Some of them require like mechanical stuff, and I've had ideas for years that I just don't exactly know how to implement. This is a good start. This is a really good start. This is a platform. You need a good platform, and then from there we can go further. I have a lot of ideas. We're gonna get to a lot of them, I think. Yeah, Faye says, I always thought it was funny that when the person falls, you can clearly tell it's a stuntman with a wig. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's that's really what that's why it became a meme, before the idea of a meme was really a thing. It was a meme. It's my money and I need it now. One of my favorites from back then was this stuff called Head On. Does anybody remember Head On? It was this stuff, I have no idea even, I just realized I don't know what it is or if it even works because I've never used it. And it's, the whole commercial is just people taking this bar of something. It almost looked like deodorant to me, like a stick of deodorant. And they put it on their forehead like this. And the whole ad, literally the whole ad, is just Head On. Apply directly to the forehead. Head On. Apply directly to the forehead. Head On. Apply directly to the forehead. Head On. Available at Walgreens. Apply directly to the forehead. It was the craziest. It was the craziest ad. It was like an ad written by AI before AI existed. I feel like if you gave, it was just the craziest ad. Like, how do we sell this stuff? I don't know. Well, you put it on your head. Makes your head feel better. What if we just call it Head On? And then we just tell people to put it on their head. And then we just do that like 8 times. Wait, the same person putting it on their head? No. We'll do different people every time. A different person in a different walk of life. We'll have a construction worker. We'll have a mom at home with her kids. We'll have a guy driving a dump truck into the ocean. We'll have a guy paragliding. We'll have a guy piloting a submarine. We'll have a fancy lady at a fancy dinner. And then just like 5 of those, and then that's it. That's the ad. It was crazy. It was crazy. So easy, a caveman can do it. So easy, a caveman can do it. The shrug. A lot of stuff I read comes to me with the same sorts of direction, which is needs to be natural, needs to be conversational, natural, very natural. We're looking only natural reads, conversational reads, only natural reads. Every time I put a shrug in it somewhere. Every time. It doesn't matter what the topic is. It doesn't matter. Anytime I see natural and conversational, somewhere in that audition I'm gonna go, with the words. It might be towards the beginning. I might do multiple shrugs. I might do a shrug in the beginning. And then I might end with a shrug. What's a good example? Compass Bank. That might be good for it's your neighborhood bank. Your neighborhood bank. It works every time. The physicality of the shrug always brings it back to that conversational sound. Every time. Okay. We've got our nubbin. We've got a home for our nubbin. We have set sail on the sea of the booth arm together, as it should be. There was no way I was going to test that thing out without you guys. Because then, if I test it out tonight and it all fails and the magnets don't work and it falls off the wall, streaming gold. I know, right, Luna? I really don't know. I don't know, but it works somehow. somehow. I'll just never forget head on now because they say it 80 billion times in the commercial. Okay. We got a little more time here. 20 minutes, something like that. We're not going to be up late tonight. I'm going to be smart. I'm going to be smart. I'm such a night owl, but I'm going to be smart. It's the right move. I'm just going to get some good sleep tonight. Cuz I am feeling better and I am really happy to be here with you guys tonight. But I also just got done being sick. And so I'm going to be smart. I'm going to be smart about it tonight. So let's jump on over. The light's going to get bright. Man, I feel like we just, the sun just rose here in the booth as we take a spin together through news of the weird. First one, it's good to have a hobby. In 2023, friends Boone Hogg and Logan Juggler, right away. Are those real names? Boone Hogg and Logan Juggler does not sound particularly real, but we'll go with it. Boone Hogg and Logan Juggler found a nice stick on the side of a trail in Utah. It had, quote, some excellent grain on it and, quote, a nice grip, they said. They liked it so much they shared a review of it with their friends. National Public Radio reported on January 23rd. They shared it with their friends. Oh, okay, I read that stupidly. National Public Radio reported on Slow News Day over at NPR that day. They're like, what do we got nothing. There's these guys that liked a stick, and they told people. Okay, that's a headline. 2 years later, Stick Nation has about 3 million Instagram followers from all over the world who post pictures and reviews of their favorite sticks. Some are modded or altered by humans. Others are, quote, natty. The natty sticks, I feel like, are a little more premium. And those are left in their natural state. One poster from Antarctica wondered, One poster from Antarctica wondered, there are no sticks here, but I found an ice stick. Does this count? Stick Nation allowed the submission. This is an Antarctica stick, Juggler decreed. That's the end of the article. That's it. That's great. I 100% support everything about that. And it really should count. I'm glad the story did not end with Stick Nation disallowing that submission. I feel like Stick Nation needs to be inclusive, and an ice stick is a valid stick because there's no trees. There's no options available if you're in Antarctica. Gotta get that T in there. That's the tricky part. In Antarctica. And it's also got the C. In Antarctica. Now it's in my head. In Antarctica. Okay, we're there. I'm there. We're there. We did it. Next. In November, high above Riedering, Germany, Friede Kuhn and Lucas Ermler walked across a slack line strung between two hot air balloons, flying at more than 8,000 feet, United Press International reported. The two were awarded the Guinness World Record for highest slackline walk on January 27th. Ermler went first, calling the successful walk, quote, a glorious moment. Kuhn admitted watching Lucas struggle on the slackline was also very intimidating for me, noting that the balloons went up and down while they were mid-walk. I mean, they're balloons, so thank you. I'm glad that got noted, but also these are not trees, nor are they buildings. These are balloons. At one point, we were walking kind of downhill. The next minute, uphill. The tension of the line was going up and down. He celebrated by parachuting off the line. I mean, I guess that's a celebration. Is that a celebration? How else are you? I guess you could ride the balloons down. You could walk across the slack line, get in the other balloon, and then just like, we did it. And then the balloons just slowly descend. A little anticlimactic. So I do feel like the right move there was parachuting off the slack line. Pretty sweet. It's a pretty sweet move. I don't have much more to say about that other than I am happy that someone found a way to trick up hot air ballooning, which is already like the most tricked up thing you can do probably in the air, isn't it? If you're in a hot air balloon, you have already tricked up the process of ascending into the sky pretty significantly. Especially in 2025, there are so many ways to fly, and what you've done with the hot air balloon is you have kind of added an extra level of difficulty, right, or uncertainty, we'll say. And then they're like, how do we trick this up even more? I know. We'll walk around. And they did that. And the tension of the line was going up and down. Next, the Los Angeles Times reported on January 27th that police were called to a property along the Los Angeles River where Google Earth images had captured multiple help signs. Is this about the fire? I don't want to read anything about the fire. Yeah, I think it's about the fire. I'm skipping this one. Skip. That's not quirky and fun. That's about fires. Let's try this one. It's from Australia. This one's probably going to be good. In rural Willows, Australia, a man in his 50s suffered serious injuries on January 29th when a massive kangaroo attacked him as he walked from his house to his car. I have not been to Australia, and our streaming friend, Smiles Are Better, Sophie, lives out that way. And but I do, as an American, probably in the same way that people have a lot of misconceptions about America and Texas especially. People have a lot of misconceptions about what it's like in Texas. I do, in my mind, just imagine that Australia is a place where you could be just walking to your car one day and a kangaroo will just walk up and start just beating you up, like maybe even with boxing gloves on. The only reason I think that's plausible and maybe even common is because of just TV and movies, but The Guardian reported this, and fortunately a neighbor witnessed the attack and was able to call for help. He did not have his life alert on. Otherwise, you just hit the life alert. And in Australia, they know. Like, you hit the life alert, they're like, it's probably a kangaroo attack. And then they send the kangaroo defense squad out. Rick Underhill of the Willows Rural Fire Brigade said the man encountered two kangaroos, one male and one female, and the female ran off before the other one turned around and attacked him. He said the male roo was about 6.5 feet tall and probably weighed 220 pounds. Underhill warned community members to stay at home. A lot of, quote, a lot of elderly people live in this little community, and they like to go and walk their dogs in the morning, he said. And that's just asking for trouble. Dang. Why is Australia so metal? Why does Australia go so hard? I don't know. I'll tell you one of my funniest memories about Australia. It's from high school. One of my good high school friends at the time was a really smart dude. I will preface this by saying, very smart guy, did very well academically, smart guy, has gone on, as far as I know, to a successful, prosperous life. Somehow, though, he got all the way through like 11th grade, and we were going through the Jack in the Box drive-thru one night, just being suburban troublemakers, and on our way somewhere else, from somewhere to somewhere, we were going through the Jack in the Box to just get some food, and somehow we were talking about Australia, and he said something to the effect of, yeah, till it floats away. And we were like, yeah. What do you mean? He's like, well, I mean, eventually it's just going to float away. What are you talking about? And as we explored this and got into it, it came to light, much to, I think, his shame and embarrassment, that he believed Australia was... Here's how he put it. Australia's an island, so eventually it's just going to float away. There's two major things to unpack there. Number one being that he believes that islands are, I guess, just floating on the water at that phase in his life. And number two, that because it's just because it's an island and it's floating, that eventually just gonna float away. So we had some gaps to fill in there, and in our kindly, high school friend group way, we literally never let him live it down for the rest of our relationship together. Any time that he was around and anything remotely Australian would come up, our response was always to be like, yeah, but I mean, it is just floating there. So eventually, probably just going to float away. I don't know. It just absolutely blew our minds in that moment, and we couldn't let it go. We didn't let it go for years and years. All right, next up, we have what is this about? Robots. I don't like robots. I don't want to read about robots. I'm gearing up to fight robots. That's me. I am going to fight robots to my dying breath. That is going to be me. I'm never, ever going to own a robot. I'm never going to allow a robot into my home. I am 100% anti-robot to the core, which is a little weird because I love technology. But robots, nah. Miss me with robots. Unless, here's the only maybe exception I would make. If we got to a place in technology where mechs were a thing, and I could climb into a mech, I'm thinking, not like, I mean, Gundam, sure, that's, ridiculously too far sci-fi. I'm talking about, like, if I could get in a walking forklift, kind of like the loader mech from Aliens. I'm all about that. That would be great. 100% on board. Miss me with robots. Not interested. Anyway, moving on. That's not funny at all. Some of these are not funny at all. So I gotta find the whimsical funny ones. Oh, this is gross, which is funny. Fighting a cold. This is also topical. If you're lucky, you can find some Progresso soup drops. Cough lozenges that taste like chicken noodle soup. Metro News reported that General Mills announced the limited time product on January 16th. Quote, what's a soup drop? Well, it's soup you can suck on, of course. A can... That's what they had for that? A can of 24 lozenges costs only $2.49, but they sold out almost immediately before a second batch was released on January 23rd. That is gross. That is, to me, that is gross. Also, I feel strongly it's missing the point. Soup is the thing that's good to eat when you're sick because it's warm and nourishing and it's actually good for you, right? It's actually like an easy thing for your body to digest at a time when it's not at its peak function. You're still getting the nutrients. And a lozenge, well, that's something that, you have the minty, the fresh mint flavor of the lozenge is helping to make you feel like you don't have to cough because it's numbing things up, right? It's numbing up this painful situation in your throat. A soup-flavored lozenge, at least as I understand it, is missing the point of both of these objects because you're... Right? Am I wrong on this? A soup-flavored lozenge, that misses the point of both of these things, does it not? Faye's like, but I'd try it once. Okay, yeah, I would try it, I guess, just to try it. But I just don't think that's... Yeah, right. No, I'm not wrong on this. I'm not wrong on this. You're right. You're right. I'm right. We're all right on this. Oh, here's one that's inspiring to me. Police pulled over Elizabeth Perez of El Paso, Texas on January 24th after clocking her driving 106 miles per hour on I-84 near Baker City, Oregon, the Oregonian reported. Why is that weird? Well, Perez is 94 years old. She was also cited for failing to secure a child passenger, driving without insurance, and failing to yield to an emergency vehicle. Why is that? Why is that inspiring to me? Because I also hope that at 94 years old, I just I just don't care. I just don't care. I've reached an age at which I can just drive 106 miles an hour with no insurance. Something about that is it's a very liberating thought. I mean, obviously dangerous. Would never recommend anybody actually do that. But in a way, kind of inspiring. A level of just not caring that is a little inspiring, I have to say. That doesn't make any sense. Holy cow. Okay. This one sounds crazy. JAMA Cardiology published a case on January 22nd that might put followers of the carnivore diet off their meat. The subject arrived at a Tampa, Florida, it would be Florida, at a Tampa, Florida hospital with with yellow oozing nodes on his palms, elbows, and soles of his feet. That's so gross. And definitely a string of words I've never said before. Yellow oozing nodes on his palms, elbow, and soles of his feet, the New York Post reported. He told doctors that he was following a diet consisting of entire sticks of butter, 6 to 9 pounds of cheese and hamburger patties daily. Oh, he said his overall health had improved. He had lost weight and gained energy and cognitive functioning. But the painless ooze had started nearly a month earlier. Blood tests revealed his cholesterol level was more than 1,000 milligrams per deciliter, about 5 times what is considered healthy. He was diagnosed with xanthelasma, in which excess lipids ooze from the blood vessels. The report did not reveal the man's fate. I mean, I know his fate. He turned into a stick of butter. He became a human stick of butter and just gained one of the Richard Scarry butter cars, probably, from the Richard Scarry Busy Town series. Just a driving stick of butter. And then he just went about his life, oozing yellow goo from nodes all over his body. Oh, what a poor man. What a poor, poor man. Lexi, thank you so much for the 2 buckaroos. Of course, it had to be Florida. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Why is it always Florida? Why is it always Florida? I really don't know. I'm going to read this again just because it's the craziest part of the whole article. Entire sticks of butter this guy was eating. 6 to 9 pounds of cheese and hamburger patties daily. If you go to Whataburger or like McDonald's or something, you are ordering a quarter pound hamburger. 6 to 9 pounds of that a day. Can't imagine. I cannot imagine. I especially can't imagine the oozing nodes. Oozing Nodes would be a pretty good punk band. Oozing Nodes would be pretty all right. I would open for Oozing Nodes. Oh, that's terrifying. Also terrifying. Uh-oh. We're back to Australia. This is so sad. I can't. It's funny, but it's sad. I can't handle it. Yo, Shinori, thank you so much. Why? You know why? Because it's Friday night. We gotta. It's Friday night. We've had a hard week. And we've got to just land the plane nice and smooth with some buttery oozing notes. That's what we got to do. Oh, Lord. That's terrifying. Oh my gosh. Oh, this has a happy ending. Otherwise, I would not have read it. Yo, Jinx Frog. $1.99 for you, parson. Is that £1.99? Have you blessed our stream with £1.99? Well, good on you. Good on you, Jinx. And thank you for representing from across the pond. We need some UK stories, don't we? We need some UK stories for Jinx. Mittens the cat gets around. On January 13th, the 8-year-old Maine Coon was booked on a one-way flight from Christchurch, New Zealand to Melbourne, Australia. But in Melbourne, Mittens was never unloaded from the baggage compartment. Instead, 3 hours later, the airline revealed that Mittens had flown back to New Zealand. About 7.5 hours in the air, in a baggage compartment. Owner Margot Neas was told a wheelchair in the cargo area had obscured Mittens' cage from the baggage handler's view. Quote, "It was not a great start to our new life in Melbourne because we didn't have the family. We weren't complete," said Neas. After arriving back in Christchurch, Mittens was loaded onto another flight to Melbourne, where she was reunited with her family. Like 7.5 hours later, she, quote, "ran into my arms and just snuggled up in here," Neas said. It was just such a relief. Well, I can imagine it was a relief for her. But can you imagine this cat? So what is that? That's 15 hours there and back. But there's also a 3-hour wait. No. Instead, 3 hours later, the airline revealed that Mittens. So we don't know when Mittens left to go back to Christchurch. It was only 3 hours later they found out that Mittens had, in fact, just stayed in the cargo hold, presumably just meowing its head off. How do you, right? Wouldn't you think you could hear? But, okay, but no, maybe not, because every time you see the folks, doing the hard work down there on the tarmac, they always have the big headphones on, right? They've always got the big, sound canceling headphones. So I guess you probably wouldn't hear a screaming cat in the cargo area. Maybe. Dang. 15 hours. That's crazy. I know. Mittens and that's true. I feel like Mittens and Miss Neas should both be getting some kind of, even if they don't award them with free tickets or something like that, they should at least get to rack up all those miles on the reward program, right? We're gonna add all those miles at a minimum, because that's a open and shut lawsuit. A little too open and shut. You open the cargo door and shut it a little too fast. Well, here we are in Japan. Japan's usually always great. Okay, yeah, this is another happy ending. A sunfish at the Kaikyoken Aquarium in Shimonoseki, Japan, has a new lease on life, or at least new friends to share it with. The New York Post reported that the sunfish, who is the sole occupant of its tank, became depressed and stopped eating after the aquarium closed for renovations in December. Quote, "One of the staff members said, 'Maybe it's lonely because it misses the visitors,'" said an aquarium worker. "So we attached uniforms of the staff members to the tank with a little bit of hope. Then the next day, it was in good health again." Workers say the sunfish tracks the uniforms and face cutouts with its eyes as it swims by, and those still in the building wave to it every time they pass the tank. Although, they don't need to, because fish are very dumb, and all you have to do is put some clothes on the glass, and the fish is like, "The people are here." So you do not need to wave, apparently, to the fish. But that's good. It's good that fish are dumb, because just a little bit of tender love and care, and a few leftover shirts from the lost and found have brought the sunfish back to life. Oh, here we go. Here's a, well, this is BBC. This isn't really, it's not a UK story. Let me keep going, see if I can find a UK-based story here. That one's not funny. We gotta at least end on a funny note. Let me find one more. Luna says, these fish are not that dumb. It's pretty dumb, right, though? Because it's just shirts. It was non-moving shirts taped to the glass. And the fish was like, everybody's back. And that's kind of dumb, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for the fish. I'm glad for the fish. And it is wholesome. That's a wholesome little yarn. But boy, it was a dumb fish. I'm just saying, it's pretty dumb. It's a pretty dumb one. That's not the smartest fish. Also, I've caught so many sunfish. Sunfish are just all over the place here in Texas. I imagine this is not like the sunfish I'm catching, here in Texas. It's probably real big, right? It's a real big like, ocean sunfish or something. I don't know. The people are here. Yeah. Oh, the people are here again. Look at how they're just none of them move. Perfect. These are people again. Oh, man. B says, oh, been listening to the Grimms, and your voice evokes the same cartoon style in my head as a Peter and the Wolf cartoon I know. Quite lovely, really. Thank you so much, B. I do have to apologize to all my summonees because this week... Oh, and thank you so much for the 5 real-life crispy dollars. I didn't get a Sleep Summoner episode out. It's the first time since I launched that I missed a deadline on that, and that killed me this week. It really killed me. But we should be back on track for Tuesday, so keep your eyes peeled. More Grimm's Fairy Tales coming at you hot on Tuesday. Thanks so much, B. I appreciate that. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Luna says, Chris, please look at an ocean sunfish. All right. Ocean sunfish. Oh my gosh, that is 100% not at all what I am catching here in Texas. Holy cow, some of these sunfish are freaking massive. Well, I can tell you, just based on the context of the story that I've read, a great deal of their mass is not taken up with brain. I can... But those are some biggins. She big. She real big. Thank you for that. Yeah, that couldn't be more different if it tried from the Texas lake sunfish. Oh, here we go. Here's the UK. Is this a good one? Let's see. Okay, yes, this is whimsical and odd. This is perfect. In Beeston, Nottinghamshire, England, locals are perplexed about a monthly offering at the corner of Abbey Road and Windsor Avenue, United Press International reported on January 6th. Starting over a year ago, on a second day of each month, a plate heaped high with peeled bananas has appeared at the intersection. Resident Claire Short said she put up a sign reading, "Please, respectfully, no more bananas. The uncollected plates and rotting bananas leave such a mess." But on January 2nd, a new plate appeared. "I think it's a special thing for someone, and I wish them well," Short said, adding that she has taken down her sign. "But if they could come back and clean up the mess a few days later, that would be lovely." So, please respectfully note, you guys are so polite. About bananas, You guys are so polite about bananas and the mess. I feel like it's a very Canadian. Is Chloe here? I feel like it's a very Canadian response to heaping piles of bananas. I could be wrong. I think it's a prank. I mean, it's cool that she's giving somebody the benefit of the doubt on this. I think it's just a prank, right? Isn't somebody just doing this for giggles? Does somebody really have a special connection with plates of bananas over and over again? It's gotta be a prank, right? Schnorrs with the faux 20 bananas. Aw. Okay, here's another wholesome story for you. On January 5th, in rural Norton, Kansas, temperatures following the big snowstorm weren't even reaching 20 degrees, and the wind chill was 5 below zero, KAKE-TV reported. That didn't stop two linemen who were trying to restore power to area residents from going above, literally, and beyond. On top of a utility pole, a bobcat and her kitten were frozen to the line and the pole. Dominic Urban and Eric Hartwell worked for about 2 hours to free the frigid felines. Quote, "I couldn't knock them off," Urban said. "The mother was frozen down to the top of the pole. I beat the ice loose, then lowered her to the ground. I had to do the same thing with the kitten." That's a Texan accent. That's not quite right for this part of Kansas. He said the mom and the kitten ran off successfully after reaching the ground, and then immediately became frozen to another pole. No, I made up that last part to ruin it for you. They both survived, and I don't know what happened to them. No, I do know what happened to them. The mom went on to run for city council and was elected to the Norton City Council, first Bobcat ever elected to the council, and the Bobcat's little kitten began to eat copious amounts of butter and I keep going back to the nodes. The nodes are so gross. Just that word. Ugh. Nodes. It's real gross. Sorry, I yucked your yum there. That was a wholesome story. A wholesome tale. So, there's a trip through some whimsical tales for us on a Friday night. Thank you for tuning in to the Oasis. What a week it's been. We've done our work. Now, it's time to lay back in the smooth grooves of classical gas. It's time to slide our way into the weekend wonderland. And together, recharge our batteries and lay ourselves down to a well-earned, cozy nap. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. It's been great to be back with you. I finally feel like myself again. And boy, what do we take for granted more than anything on this earth? Well, the actual answer is oxygen. That's the real answer. Because we need it. We need it pretty bad, like every couple seconds. And it's free. It's about the only thing that is free. That in your mind, that in your imagination. Free of charge. So what's the second most important thing that we take for granted? It's our health. It's our health. And we never know how much it means to us till we don't have it. And I'm so very glad to have mine coming back. I hope that all of you that are suffering right now through the winter junkulousness, that it will end for you very soon. Hadouken, thanks so much for your $2. I totally missed it. Thank you so much, Hadouken. It will end for you soon. Soon you'll be feeling like yourself again. You'll be jumping up, ready to face the day. You'll be like war draws. You'll be getting all your laundry done, taking all those nasty tasks that are sitting on the back burner and just snatching them up and beating them into submission. I mean, that's what it looks like for me, but I don't know what it looks like for you. Whatever it looks like for you, I hope that you return to the flower of health so very soon. Make sure that you're following me on my socials, because we're going to have an announcement here sometime soon. I'm in no rush. It'll get here when it gets here. Could be tomorrow, could be this weekend, could be Monday, who knows. But should be more fun stuff for us to dig into, more fun stuff for us to do together. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears perked for another episode of Sleep Summoner Restful Readings coming at you Tuesday. And until then, friends, kiddies and parents and adults, and all of you out there tonight, cruising your way into the weekend, ready to relax, always, no matter what you do, forever, stay cozy. Stay